Welcome friends to another 40k video. Today we discuss the month of shame when the Grey Knights went into conflict with the Space Wolves. What triggered this? How was it resolved? Friends, let's find out. The Grey Knights banish Angron on Armageddon, and later, in case any of the humans still on the planet are tainted or corrupted by chaos, sanctions are brought against those people, those who have fought side by side with the Marines against those that would take Armageddon from them. One Grey Knight called Hyperion is being given the name Blade Breaker by the Wolves for breaking the blade of Angron. Joros is in charge of the Knights at this time. Annika, an Inquisitor, spells it out. There was a vote among the inquisitorial forces here. They voted to condemn the entire population of Armageddon, and after, Armageddon will be reseeded with colonists drafted in to dwell in the empty cities. It's only not facing exterminators because its industrial value to the Imperial Guard is high. The Wolves' flagship, in answer, broadcasts this message. The voice you hear is that of Jarl Grimnar. I request that you stand down from these plans of yours. Take this request in the spirit in which it's offered. It will be unfortunate if I had to repeat it as a warning. This is the Fenrisian warship, skirmish, to all Inquisition vessels. The voice you hear is, etc. The Wolves have a large fleet around Armageddon to protect it from the attempt by the Grey Knights to rid the planet of the very population that live there. Now the population of Armageddon have been told that the cities must be temporarily evacuated for sacred cleansing. Then the people will be allowed to return. A Grey Knight ship approaches the planet. A Lord Inquisitor named Fenris says to Grimnar, even if the Knights are stopped here, they will still hunt down those who might be tainted. Ragnar replies that these soldiers fought for the Imperium. The Inquisitor then dares, I will tell you how this ends, Jarl Grimnar. It ends with you on your knees, as the first High King of Fenris, to bare his throat to a foe's blade. Refuse and suffer the excommunication of your chapter and the exterminatus of your miserable homeworld. Grimnar says they will not fire first, despite the threat. And despite being fired on, they do not. The wolves hold, and a few deaths happen, even with the accuracy of the ships, trying to disable the wolves. They're not able to be accurate enough to avoid that. Then the order is given to destroy an Astartes vessel. As the orders are about to be given out and carried out, a ship emerges from the warp. It's a battle barge aligned with the wolves. The Knights break off their attack. So instead of targeting Armageddon directly, they begin taking out ships that have left Armageddon. One by one, wherever they stop, they are destroyed. So they are beyond the wolves' protection, and many innocents are killed along with them, because the wolves cannot protect all. The Grey Knights with the Inquisitor later meet at a parley to discuss terms, but as they come out of the warp, they find ships fighting on each side, and the ancient flagship of the Space Wolves, Logan's flagship, was breaking apart. Lord Joros, under the auspices of Fenris the Inquisitor, and his suspicion of the wolves' treachery, had fired first and lit the conflict alight. They want to capture Grimnar and make his chapter submit. The Inquisitor offers the wolves the opportunity to discuss terms, and Logan agrees. They meet face to face, and Logan and the Inquisitor and the Knights Grand Master Joros all stand and speak. Fenris says they could have met sooner. With teleport, Grimnar says they only use them in the direst of needs, and the Inquisitor says, what are his terms of surrender? And Grimnar responds, and if I wish to name you an oathbreaker, a lion viper with piss for blood, and an idiot boy swimming too far from safe shores, what then would you say? The Inquisitor wonders if the chapter will fight on without their Jarl, and Logan tells the boy how the Knights understand the defiance in the wolves. But this man does not, this boy. Joros, the Grandmaster of the Grey Knights, when asked, says he gave orders to fire on the weaponless ships. The Jarl says he'll remember the Knight's face until the wolf time, and when asked if the wolves will stand down, he says that will not be happening. Then an attack happens. and it's noted that the Grand Master's blade had scarcely cleared its scabbard when Logan Grimnar's axe of blackened steel and burnished gold cleaved into the Grand Master's breastplate and throat, ending a worthy, respectable life of service with a single crunching chop. Joros went down, felled by the axe blow, and dead before he hit the ground. The Inquisitor orders the knights to hold as their weapons are being raised. The Inquisitor says, "Don't make me kill you." Grimnar replies, "Don't make me laugh," and teleportation flashes. But the Grey Knights stop Grimnar with their psychic abilities. Then, in response, the Jarl and his guards fire their bolters, which smash against Ceramite. 4 knights fall. The kills have been tactical. They're taking out 4 Justicars. Their psychic link with the others now broken, they would no longer be able to hold the space walls in place, because the Justicars channeled the knights' unified power, and so the wolves teleported away. After the wolves were always there to stop the knights when they fell on a ship leaving Armageddon, there was always an escort. The Inquisitor summoned an entire chapter called the Red Hunters to aid him, but in the end the Inquisitor was forced to stop the knights pursuing the ships that were leaving Armageddon. And so defeated in this ray, Cassandros takes the knights to the heart of the wolves, their home world, Fenris. The Red Hunters are with him, and his armada fills the Fenrisian heavens, and he was on every bridge through the use of a servo skill, and Fenris seemed very poorly defended. The void shields and guns of the Fang, upon seeing the knights spring to life, the Inquisitor gives them 4 hours to obey his command. He demands they show him their necks. The Inquisitor then speaks to Hyperion to convince him to aid him. He says there have been mistakes, but there's a way for the wolves to escape exterminatus, and he admits that he has dragged the knights away from their central calling and into imperial politics. He asks Hyperion to act as an ambassador to the wolves, and he agrees, and he and Annika, the Inquisitor, and the Hunter of the Wolves go to speak to the Space Wolves, and there they meet a legend, Bjorn the Fell-Handed. When Cassandros calls the Emperor a god, Bjorn says, "That's how this whole mess started. You walked in the age of the Emperor?" Bjorn made the gear-grinding chuckle again. Walked, ran, pissed, and killed. I did it all. I met the All-Father, you know. Fought at his side more than once. I do believe he liked me. Cassandros slowly went to his knees. "Ofa, not you as well." Bjorn rebuked him. That's because Annika, the other Inquisitor with them, is originally from Fenris, and so she had fallen to her knees upon seeing Bjorn. Bjorn tells Hyperion that he's impressed with how he broke Angron's blade. They then negotiate. Cassandra says he can bring more forces to burn Fenris, so they must compromise and go on a penitent crusade. You want us to send an entire generation of wolves out into the stars cloaked in shame to appease fools who fail to serve the Imperium half as well as we do, Bjorn tells him. After this, the wolves' fleet jumps into orbit around Fenris, and Bjorn says, "Your move, Inquisitor." And so the fleets clashed. Half the Grey Knights focus on the Fang, the rest of the fleet opposing them. The Fenrisians close and launch boarding pods, and the shields are down on the flagship in moments, and then blinding light and warriors in Terminator plate appear. One, blighting the weight of the armor, ran out of the teleportation. The Grey Knights fired, but did not slow this wolf. Then the warrior leapt and came down on the central command dais. The axe fell, one knight died. Another, moving in unison, is knocked over a railing, and Cassandros the Inquisitor faces the old warrior. The Inquisitor himself is weaponless and clad only in ceremonial power armor. And he says nothing. He never had time to whisper a single word. The old warrior's axe didn't even slow going through him. Lord Inquisitor Cassandros' head fell from his shoulders, rolling and banging down the steps. The body toppled a second later, collapsing back into the command throne. Logan Grimnar, this old warrior, raised the axe, Morkai in one hand, roaring a howl to the burning bridge around him. For every crew member reaching for their sidearms, 24 were abandoning their stations for the escape pods. Hyperion then defends his fallen brother, stepping into the warp to then reappear and ward off Grimnar's killing blow on his brother knight. And then, as the fighting seems doomed to escalate and continue, the voice of Bjorn the Fell-Handed booms out. To end this madness, and they do. In the aftermath, the Inquisitor Annika, Jarl's daughter of Fenris herself, is given a warning by Grimnar that any inquisitorial ship appearing above Fenris will be shot on sight. We will pull it from the sky and feast on its bones. And Hyperion is invited down to the Fang to speak of the knights and to educate the Space Wolves. The Inquisition later talk about looking into the wolf's gene seed, and as Bjorn slumbers, again he says, "Remember, the Inquisition will not leave us in peace." Jarl Grimnar nodded, as solemn as I'd ever seen him. "I know. Watch the skies, brothers." The dreadnought descended into the mist, and a bulkhead in the floor started to seal closed above it. Howl for me when they come. And that, friend, is where we will end the coverage of this novel. And the book from which this is all taken is The Emperor's Gift by dembski-bowden. I just want to refer to some cool moments. Those last few lines by Bjorn the Fell-Handed gave me goosebumps. I love Bjorn the Fell-Handed, a legend even amongst the Astartes. It might go back to the Ragnar Blackmane William King novels that I read a long time ago. The Wolves was the first chapter that I really fell for and got me into 40k in those terms, perhaps followed by the Blood Angels, who stick with me more now. But enough from me. One of the cool moments I just want to mention is Logan Grimnar running out of teleportation like he's going for a jog in full Terminator plate. Absolutely badass. So let's turn things over to you. Enough from me. Whose side were you on? Who was in the right? Should the knights have performed exterminatus on Fenris? I say, hell no to that. What about you?